Jane Austen is known as a woman who created the most beautiful love stories in a whole world of chicklit, while she herself loved only once in her life. Her relationship with Tom Lefroy was hardly a full-fledged love relationship. They only danced a few times at balls. Tom was a relative of Austen's neighbors from Ireland. He was quite attractive and studied to be a lawyer. It seems that the only reason was the rich imagination of the writer, who invented a love story for herself. Jane wrote to her sister Cassandra, "I terribly want to tell you about how I and my Irish friend behaved. Imagine all the most debauched and shocking things that can only happen when two people are dancing or sitting side by side. However, I will have only one opportunity to show myself again, because he leaves the country shortly after next Friday, when we will dance at the ball. He's a real gentleman, an attractive and pleasant young man, I assure you. However, I can't say more about him, because we almost didn't see each other, except for those 3 balls." Handsome Tom probably didn't notice the fleeting meeting, but impressionable Jane fell in love with him for life and continued to write about him to her sister. But the young man had been in love with the sister of his school friend for a long time, and they were supposed to get married. The wedding took place shortly after Lefroy's return to Ireland. Jane Austen found out about it when she had already written 2 novels. In the third one, Mansfield Park, she essentially described her life. Later, she embellished their short communication in her imagination. She seemed to be hoping to see him again, and they probably met again 8 years later. But Tom hardly gave a meaning to this meeting. By that time, he had been married for a long time and hardly thought about Jane Austen, but he became the greatest love in her life. When her childhood friend Harry's Bigwither, a wealthy gentleman, an excellent match, proposed to her, she at first agreed, but withdrew her consent the next morning. She declared herself an old maid and put on a mob cap to emphasize her desire to be alone. When Tom was well over 50, his nephew asked him one day if he had any feelings for the famous Jane Austen. Tom replied that he really had been in love with her, but it was an immature, young feeling, and that he still felt a little guilty that he unwittingly inspired her with some hopes. Do like and subscribe if you enjoyed this story. Oh, and click on the bell so you get notified when the new episode comes out.